One of the problems with recruiting for investment banking is not the knowledge or skills you acquire, but the access to talk with real investment bankers to put your best foot forward. Our sponsor, WSO Academy, can provide those connections with 60 head mentors who are finance professionals at top firms like Goldman, Centerview, and JP Morgan. Imagine being able to get on the phone within 24 hours with one of the Academy's 1,300 mentors right before a critical interview. Get on the waitlist for WSO Academy today by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting wallstreetoasis.com/academy. All right. Welcome to Investment Banking Insights, the only podcast dedicated to helping you learn both the technical and non-technical aspects of investment banking. I'm so grateful you're here. My name is Alex Mason and I am your host. And I'm an incoming MBA student switching from a non-finance career field, learning all this investment banking stuff. And so I am here to help guide you through all these things as I'm learning them, which I think is really cool because sometimes when you're an expert in a field, it's a little bit harder to relate and describe things in a way that beginners would understand. So I want to share what I can with you. And we've been going through these mergers and acquisitions questions. We just kind of got started with this series a few days ago. And today's question is this: why would a company want to acquire another company? What's the purpose? Why would a business even want to buy another business? Why not just focus on their own business? Well, very good question. Well, there's a lot of reasons why a business would want to buy another business. And there's probably more than this, but these are several reasons that a business would want to do this. Number one, they want to expand their market share. Especially in very fragmented markets. Like there's a lot of competitors that you could just buy up for the right price. So you could expand your market share, and the business might want to improve their competitive position in a certain area where they're weaker, right? Maybe geography. Maybe a business is located in the Southwest, but they want to expand to the Northeast. Well, if they don't have a presence in the Northeast, maybe they can buy another business that's already over there and quickly expand in that region. They could also expand demographically. Maybe they cater towards a certain type of buyer for their products and services, but another business caters towards a different demographic. Well, buying that other business kind of brings those customers over. And then another way they could increase their market share is through product segment. Maybe they sell a very specific type of products and there's a variation on that product that customers also like. And instead of building it themselves, they can just go buy a company that already does that. So that's number one. They could expand their market share. Number two is very simply, I think of this as like the most fundamental reason a business would buy another business. And it's because they can get higher growth. They can get higher growth of their profits, their cash flows, revenue. I mean, you see this very often in the business world where a larger company will acquire a smaller one that's growing really fast. And guess what? That kind of boosts up the overall growth of the larger business and could be helpful for shareholders potentially. That's number two. Number three is what I term as avoiding an existential threat from the competition. And there's kind of a couple of ways that a business can approach evaluating competition. And we won't go down that rabbit hole, but I will say that this method is a buy rather than bury approach. Because you could look at another business. Let's say you're running a business. You could look at a competitor and say, you know what? They're coming up, they're being successful, they're threatening my business, maybe not today, but maybe in the future at some point. I'm going to absolutely crush them. I am going to outmaneuver them. I'm going to have better pricing, have better marketing, have better, leaner operations. Like you could strategize all sorts of things, or you could just buy the business out. Of course, they have to be willing to sell, but many business owners are willing to sell for the right price. And so that's a way that a lot of businesses will buy out another business that could be an existential threat to their business later on if left unchecked. I mean, there's a lot of examples of this. I think, what was it? I think Google, way back in the day, they they were about to be bought by some other company. I forget the name of the company, but it's a now defunct search engine, and they just rejected it. And Google was like, okay, all right, we're going to keep doing our thing. And then, of course, Google went on to dominate search, the entire business of search. They basically perfected it, over 90% market share, even today. And that was over a couple decades ago, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars in value that just went out the window because they weren't willing to buy this company. So that's one reason a business might buy another business. They might try to avoid this existential threat. Number 4, they might want specific capabilities from the workforce of that business. So for example, highly specialized professionals in computer science or biotechnology or finance or any number of fields, it's hard to find talent sometimes for certain businesses. And I'll just use an example from the world of investment banking. Investment banking took a bit of a downturn in 2022, especially compared to 2021, when there was just tons of deal activity, and the deal activity kind of fell through a lot. In some cases, some banks reported like 40, 50% lower numbers in 2022 versus 2021. Now, this may be a bad thing because, people are making less money. However, it's a great opportunity for some investment banks to find talent, because if investment bank number 1 is laying off some of their people, investment bank number 2 may say, hey, it's really hard for me to get qualified people in this business who already know how to do deals, who already know how to work long hours, who already know how to be investment bankers. We're going to hire these people up. And you'll see some press releases from investment banks touting this market environment that we're in right now. And I'm recording this in 2023 for reference. Like, this is a great time to get some talent. And so they may try to get that talent, piecemeal, one by one, or they may just buy out an entire business. Maybe there's another business that's struggling in a downturn, and they may barely even be able to afford to keep the doors open. And the owners of that business may be thrilled to be getting a big payday for some bigger company to swoop in and save them, and they don't have to worry about the financial stability of their business. So that's another reason why a business might acquire another one. Now, just to tease this out a little bit further, it might not just be the workforce. It might be some other sort of intangible value that the company has. Maybe the target business has some type of intellectual property. They've invented some kind of new process or recipe or a patent portfolio that's really valuable that no one else has. And the bigger company may say, you know what? They have this asset. We want it. We're going to go get it. And the way we're going to go get it is by buying out the business. So that is a reason they want specific capabilities from the target company. Number 5, they might want to buy another business in order to cross-sell and upsell customers across their combined business. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, for example, let's say that a bank is running their operations and they're really good at business loans, but they're not so great at retail loans, regular consumer loans. But the bank down the street is really good at consumer loans, but they're not really into business banking. Well, bank number 1 could buy bank number 2 and then go to bank number 2's customer base and say, hey, do you want to buy a business loan in addition to your regular consumer loan? And then also upsell other products and services that they create. Like, oh, well, maybe you want this business loan, but you can also get this high yield checking account, or whatever the case may be. This is a way that companies can use their increased customer base to do cross-selling, which is like selling products across different customer bases, and then upselling, which is increasing the average purchase price per customer using the combined strength of the business, combined scale of the business. So that's number 5. Number 6. A company might buy another company because the target company looks undervalued, and the acquirer sees an opportunity to immediately create value just by buying at a good price. You'll see businesses do this too. I was looking at a company the other day. I think it's called Mohawk Industries. It's a flooring company. It's one of the few big players in the space. And every now and then, they'll just opportunistically buy out a smaller competitor or another competitor in the space. And it's because they see good value. And you can kind of track these things by looking at EV to EBITDA multiples, especially if those businesses are publicly traded, and say, okay, well, this business is being acquired for a relatively good price. Maybe the parent company is trading at 7 times EBITDA, whereas the company being acquired, it only cost them 3 times EBITDA to buy that business. So yeah, like that makes sense from a valuation perspective. So that's reason number 6. And then reason number 7, why a business might want to buy another one, is because the buyer sees significant synergies between the two businesses that they think will be accretive for shareholders. And I'll define accretive in the next episode soon, but fundamentally, what are synergies? Synergies are where we think that we can save money. You know, if I am a home builder and you are a home builder, we may supply wood from 2 different suppliers while we're building our houses. But if we combine our operations, maybe we can bargain with a single wood supplier that will give us a discount because we're buying double the amount of wood. Now we're 1 customer instead of 2 customers with higher volume. So maybe there's some cost synergies that can be achieved there. So that's an example of another reason that a business might want to acquire another. So this has been a longer episode, but really good points here, I think, to keep in mind. Why would a company want to acquire another one? Here's the summary. Number 1, they want to expand market share and be more competitive. Number 2, they want higher growth in general. They want higher growth. Number 3, they want to avoid some kind of existential threat. Number 4, they want to get specific capabilities from that business. Could be intellectual property, could be labor. Number 5, they want to be able to cross-sell and upsell customers. Number 6, the target company just looks undervalued, looks like they could get a deal. And then number 7, the buyer sees significant synergies between the two businesses. So those are the reasons why one business might acquire another. This is Alex Mason with Investment Banking Insights. I hope you enjoy this, and I'll see you next time.